Hey folks, Lee Smith, Spouses Buying Houses. Hey, it's a beautiful Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. There is snow flurries in the air. I'm looking out over my windows. So we're gonna get this kicked off here. I'm running a little late. We're gonna kick this off in about 3 minutes. So if you guys want to scroll ahead, if you're watching the replay, then you can go ahead. I did kind of want to show you a couple things that are kind of funny. Let's see here. So this is an advertisement that I saw this week, and this is to me this is a huge no-no. So this basically was a Facebook post, and this was, sorry you lost your parents. Sorry you lost your parents. Do they still have a property? Still owe mortgage? Call us. We buy homes cash. No will, no probate, no lawyer. We solve problems. We can help. Contact us today. Wow. Seriously? Are you serious, bro? Because that is going to get a lot of pissed off people. A lot of times people hit up probates. Someone passes, there's properties involved. But, yeah, this is a little over the top. You think? Just a little? All right. So anyway, what else happened this week? A couple minutes. So last week I talked about a commercial property that I had made an offer on, and on Friday I made the offer. And it's important to note that anytime you make an offer on a property, hey Emil, how's it going, buddy? Anytime you make an offer on a property, the deal's not done until the deal closes. So I had made an offer to a wholesaler. He sent me a message. I sent him an offer on Friday morning. He sent me a message later that afternoon, and he said, you should have the paperwork by noon on Saturday. And so, okay. So noon on Saturday came, I didn't have the paperwork. 2 o'clock on Saturday came, I didn't have the paperwork. 4 o'clock came, I still didn't have the paperwork, so I texted the guy. I said, hey, I don't have the paperwork yet. So a couple hours later, I get a response back. He says, you should have the paperwork the second my partner gets to his computer. So I said, okay. And so then on Monday around 1 o'clock, I got a phone call from the wholesaler, and he says, you need to come up $5K on your offer. We're not going to sell it to you unless you can come up $5K. And I said, no, you led me to believe I had this property under contract. And he says, no, I didn't. I never did. And I said, yeah. I said, you sent me a message and said I had it, and you were going to send me paperwork by noon on Saturday. And he says, no, I didn't. So about that time, I realized how people are. So I pulled up my text messages, and the key word here was, you should have paperwork by noon on Saturday. And then later on, when I didn't get the paperwork, it was, you should have it when my partner gets to his desk or to his computer. So it kind of irritated me. And so I said to him, and I was nice to him, and I just said, you see how you misled me though, right? Nope, don't understand what you're talking about. I said, yeah, you misled me, brother. You said that I should have this property. He says, no, I don't see what you're saying. And I said, whatever. It is what it is. My original offer is good. I'm not coming up. But, I feel like you misled me. And so we kind of left it at that. So, my original offer was cash, and I would close in a week, or as fast as the title company could go. So I waited till about Thursday of this week, and I sent him a text, and I said, hey, that property sell yet? No, not yet. And I said, well, my offer is still open. I'd originally offered, it's not dead deal yet. But anyway, so long story short, so I called him back on Thursday and said, hey, my offer is still open. And if you want to sell it, I'm here, and I'll close as fast as the title company can work. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So today we're going to go through a couple of properties. We're going to do some scopes of work. If you're wondering why I keep looking up and over, it's because I have a new monitor, and it's up higher. And so I'm keeping other stuff out of range. Hey, Phil, buddy, how you doing? Phil, I need to respond to your message from last night, but most likely, yes, we don't have multiple comps, but I didn't look at it. One of my VAs did for you. Anyways, so we're going to run through this today. We're going to run through 2, maybe 3 properties, do some scopes of work. We'll run some cash flow analysis on the properties. And so let's kind of get this going here. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is one of our rentals.
Inspection video, move out video. Okay. We got a water meter right here.
Woohoo, we're pointing out water meters. Awesome.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what you get with these houses is the water meter could be inside the house, in the basement, in a crawl, in a closet. And so you don't really know. And then when we get calls, you know, the water is leaking or whatever.
Paint chipping off the wood.
We don't know where to send them.
Painted.
You know, to tell them to turn off the water.
Here as well.
So you got to notify people.
Here. All the paint's chipping. But everything's still operatable, holding up. That light right there could get a new bulb probably.
Yeah, so we got some bulbs, we got some trim that needs to be cut. We need to
Out the
run
gutters
the,
for
and this is
sure.
a regular for me, and I know you guys have probably heard if you watched this show or whatever. The gutters need to be run 10 feet
The
away.
roof doesn't look that bad. It's got a little bit to go. Not
Need to
too
clean
much
the
of it
gutters.
is coming up. The gutters
Let me
don't
get-
look that bad. Just clean them out. You can see a lot of this paint is chipping up.
Yeah, so this exterior needs a lot of repaint. It's almost like, anyways, it's peeling pretty bad.
Driveway.
So we probably pressure wash it and paint it at some point in time.
Back here needs to be cleaned up. All in all, it looks pretty good back here. Here we got a back door with the water heater and the breaker box. And I'm currently draining the water heater.
All right, so we got a bunch of clean out on this stuff.
Growing. Fence line and then the back. Here's our garage.
Sorry, my boss came down the stairs and was talking to me. Let's see what we got. So yeah, so we got to clear out a lot of this rubbish and stuff like that around the house. A lot of this plant overgrowth along the fence.
Door, super
We need to see how the garage here. So there was electricity at one point in time, but there is no garage door opener. So, you know, that's something we need to be aware of. So there may have been electricity, but probably we're not going to go in and put in a garage door opener for this house. But that may be something that a tenant wants, prospective tenant. There is electrical wires there, though, so we can kind of go from there. Emil's asking if the foundation is partly covered by siding. How do you know if it's good? I mean, typically you're going to see some bowing out. You're going to see some big cracks in the foundation that you can see.
Not too bad of shape.
You're gonna know a lot of times if you got foundational issues. When you go walking into the house, you're gonna see a lot of unlevel floors and whatnot like that. Clearly, this
That is the exterior.
clearly the garage is not weather tight because you can see the gap underneath it. And in these kind of houses, I don't know if we could probably send our crew out to do to fix that garage, but it's probably not worth. I don't know what's going on with my one screen. It's probably not worth doing a lot of extra work to it because it's not going to add a lot of value. All right, let's do interior view.
Interior video. Let's head on in.
Okay, so
Here's our door. Screen door.
what we're looking for here is we're looking for a good seal around the door. We want to make sure we got good weather stripping going on. There's obviously some scratches here. There's paneling around this fireplace.
This could be painted up. It's like cracking right here.
So there's some cracks in there. So either
Looks like it needs to be painted
something
up
or someone's gone through that wall, or we've got some other issues. It's probably just a patch.
Showcase this room a little better. Got a fireplace. A wood wall.
Now fireplaces are interesting because, okay, so here, so you got some rips in this, or scratches in this paneling here. So probably what we would do is we would come in and we would scuff these walls, this paneling walls. Well, two things. A, we'd look to see how easy it is to take off that paneling. But there's a mantle here, so it might be a little more involved. There's some brickwork there too. And then B, we might scuff it with some, some
Carpet looks pretty nice.
minor sanding paper or, scuff pads and stuff like that. Scuff the walls, and then we could just paint those walls, right? So then we could do some patch on these little scratches and whatnot like here. I think those carpets are savable for at least one more tenant. We have a new cleaner, and he's doing phenomenal on bringing carpets back to life.
I can't tell if they open or not. It kind of looks like they do.
So, okay, so he's saying that these little panels here look like they open. So let's go back to our exterior video.
This is 20. Got some decals.
Let me go back a little bit
Water.
here. So maybe those vents open? I don't
Okay.
really know.
Off the wood. All the paint is chipping.
They kind of look like they might open to add extra airflow. I don't know. That's interesting.
But
All right, we
everything's
turn that one
still-
off. We've already seen that video. All right, so if not, we need to seal up those panels.
Let's head on in here to the kitchen area. Got a closet. We got some nails and stuff in the walls.
Did I skip a bunch?
It looks pretty nice. We got some panels down here. Can't tell if they open or not. It kind of looks like they do.
Yeah, see how these got these little hooks here? So this probably opens up, and then it looks like there is those little vents open. So that's interesting. I've never seen that
Kinda looks
before.
like they do.
Seems like it would be a bug magnet that low to the ground, but what do I know? I just been in the industry for 20-something years. So this shelf system here needs some shelves.
Closet. We got some nails and stuff in the walls. Kitchen. See a little paint. Got some tile closed over here.
So the flooring needs to be replaced here. You can see that there.
We got some more brick coming up.
So whenever we have a fireplace, I was going to say this earlier, whenever we have a fireplace, okay, so two things. This brickwork here, it's a fascia. So we need to figure out if, and maybe we'll kind of go for a stucco look here. Maybe that'll kind of leave it on the inexpensive for us to repair. And then also kind of give it that kind of a, I don't know, you know what I mean. Like the lofts and stuff like that look to it. So we could probably maybe do something like that in here, or we could see if we can find some replacement. I don't think we're going to be able to find the sheet product that looks like this. So either we're going to tear it all out, or we're just I'm going to try and stucco it. But so anytime you have a fireplace in a home, you don't usually want your tenants to use those fireplaces. So like in our lease, it says that fireplaces are for decorative purposes only. They're not to be used, especially if it's a wood burning one. And there's a lot of issues with that and why we do that. But one of the bigger reasons is because fireplaces need to be kept up. You need to service them. You need to go in and caulk them. You need to make sure the liner is good, the flue is working, all that sort of stuff. And so it's just, in these kind of houses, it's not worth the effort. Now, if it was a higher end property, then yes, it would probably be worth fixing and whatnot. But even in the higher end units, if it's a rental, I'm going to tell them not to use it. So it's for decorative purposes only. Now, I don't know if this house has gas. I don't know if we could run a gas insert into here. I don't know if we want all that hassle, especially in a low-income area. Morning, Frank. Morning, Allison. I wasn't ignoring you. So anyway, so that's kind of some different thoughts there. But yeah, I mean, it's just, these can be real maintenance nightmares, and the last thing you want to do is incur some liability for if something goes wrong with the fireplace and then a fire starts and then you get in trouble and get sued. So that's kind of interesting there, that wood. Do you leave it rustic like that, or do you paint it? Do you scratch and paint it? What do you guys think?
Dimples and stuff in the walls. Could see some paint in here.
So another thing we're looking at here is we're looking to see, I don't know if you could, right there. We're looking for electrical box, or we're looking for a gas outlet. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is an electric stove. All right, let's see what else we got. So these kitchen cabinets are kind of older.
Cabinets.
So then the question becomes, do we clean them up? They look like they're in pretty decent shape. So do we keep them there as is, or do we come in and we scuff them and we paint them?
This handle needs to be fixed on this one.
They seem to be working. They seem to be in decent shape. So, I mean, at this point, I'm going to say we probably just go with clean it up. So now this is kind of interesting. Right there is a vent. So that means that these are probably, at some point in time, they may not have been vented properly. So they added in a vent to try and get it to, like if you're hearing gurgling and whatnot, then that's usually is a sign that you've got a vent issue. So they maybe drain slow or whatnot. And a lazy Susan. No, it's not a lazy Susan. Okay, so this is nice. So here, right here, we're seeing that there's some PEX plumbing involved. So that means at some point in time, somebody's come through and they've replaced most of the plumbing, or at least the plumbing lines going to the kitchen.
So most of our cabinets are pretty good. Just that one needs a handle.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to say we just,
like I did.
in the final clean, they're going to just kind of.
This one right here. Pretty good condition. Like coming up on the fireplace.
Did have that rip right down there. So see, we still got this rip down here. So I'm going to recommend that we replace flooring in the kitchen.
Countertop looks pretty good.
So our countertops are fine. So we'll accept that.
Just need to be cleaned off.
Ooh, chocolate brown sink. Man, you don't see that. That's highfalutin.
Pretty nasty. All of our windows are good. They got screens.
Oh, nice.
They're not broken or anything.
Yeah, it looks like these people took care of that property. So this should be an inexpensive rehab so far.
Okay, so in
Now the one big question is there is minor touch-ups needed throughout.
here, shabby. I can see some paint in here. Needs paint.
But we don't know the colors. That's our problem. Now, I was just talking to my Sherwin-Williams rep this week, and he's got a new little scanner, like a little key fob. Looks like about a half a stack of quarters, and it's like $50-$60, and you could take it into a house and it'll scan the color, and it's, according to him, it's pretty accurate. So we've got one coming, so we're going to test it out in some of these houses, but it does not tell you sheen. This looks like semi-gloss in here. So you still, is it flat? Is it eggshell? Is it, you know, whatever, semi-gloss? What is it? You got to figure that out on your own. What did he just say there?
Like kind of coming up on the wall.
Now the one thing here, let me try and get back up here.
Like kind of coming up on the.
So our tile backsplashes looks in decent shape, so we could probably just caulk that. But see these big nicks in this tub? That worries me. Now, if there was more nicks in here, then I'd be more worried. There was no dookie in the toilet. You guys are lucky.
The toilet was in good condition. Tub looks good.
One thing I always recommend you guys do is when you're coming in and looking at these older showers and tubs and stuff like that, is you bang on right around in here and down here, and you see if you've got any loose spots, or, you know, I mean, where it's deteriorating, which means you may have a leak behind the wall, and then it's slowly deteriorating over time.
You can easily bring the color back.
Yeah, he did remember his flashlight, Emil. Emil asking me if he remembered his flashlight. He's also asking me why are we even painting those other wooden walls. Just to clean them up. If they're really rough looking, then it's probably worth it. Now, if it looks pretty decent, pretty nice, then yeah, we'll just leave it alone as is. That's one of the what we're looking at there. I'm a little worried about the floors in the hallway, especially like into that laundry area, which those always get beat up.
It's been patched up.
Yeah, that door's been patched up.
Paint over this.
It looks like they just did a drywall patch.
Paint the sliding doors in this room. Paint the walls. Yeah.
So he just said it needs a repaint. This room does. Ew, gross. Wallpaper. So it just depends on how many layers of wallpaper are here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get into a situation where you start peeling wallpaper off, and then all of a sudden there's like 16 layers underneath it, or it's not peeling them.
Except for
level. What do I want to say? It's not peeling off correct. Oh my gosh, they even went in the closets. Somebody spent a lot of time on that. Another cheap, inexpensive solution is just to paint the wallpaper. A lot of people just do that.
I don't think they're guide either. This one needs to be thrown back on the guide. Got shelves right here.
Man. Somebody went crazy with the cheese whiz on the wallpaper.
Room. So the bottom half could use some paint.
Yeah, more wallpaper.
The decals and stuff.
Man.
Wallpaper looks good. Except for under here.
Yeah. I just don't know if that's going to come off easy or not. So do you budget to take it off? There's actually quite a bit there to take off, or do you just patch where it's peeled off or broken off, and then, you know, just skim coat it and then paint it? I'm going to probably vote for the latter. We'll do some skim coat patching and then we'll repaint.
See, just a little paint, couple spots. There, could just wipe that off. probably.
It's just a bed bug. It'll wipe right off.
Got a screw in the wall.
Just teasing. Just teasing.
No,
It's a
no,
prank. Oh my gosh, they did the door. I love it.
You guys can work with this. Bottom half's gonna need paint.
Looks like they were in the midst of painting. They left the tape on the walls. The problem is if you leave that tape on for too long, especially in a house with no heat, because it's been sitting for a little while, then that is going to come off and it's going to take the paint with it. A couple crayons, markers, and stuff.
And it's pretty much gonna wrap it up for 2033 DeQuincy.
So was that 2 or 3 bedrooms? It was 3 bedroom, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 bedroom.
For 2033.
Oops, you guys aren't supposed to know the address, but you did probably just hear it. All right, so let's see what we got here. Now, some of this I was talking and wasn't listening well enough. Go scrape and paint the exterior. I mean, there's a lot of spots where it's it's coming off or whatever. So we may be able just to fix the spots where it's peeling real bad. I mean, if the city comes through, they're going to want us to, scrape and paint the loose particles and stuff like that. So, but obviously we can't do it in the wintertime. It's like below freezing now because we got snow coming down. So I'm going to say it's, this is probably overkill, but about $500. Clean and run the gutters away from the house. Minor cleanup of yard and overgrowth around things. So I'm going to say that's probably like $500 because we're going to clean out a lot of that overgrowth, the crap and stuff like that. I know Allison. Allison just said someone really likes wallpaper. Well, that used to be the thing back in the 70s. Come on now. I remember my mom had tons of wallpaper all over the house, and then she cursed the day she ever did it when she was trying to remove it all. Patch, paint, paneling, and living room. I'm sorry, I didn't do this one. Patch and touch-up paint throughout. So some rooms and doors will need to be painted. So, A, we don't know the colors, so we're going to have to try and do that. And then B, we're going to go through and we're going to just try and touch up in like the living room and stuff because he acted like that was pretty touch-upable. That's a word, touch-upable. And so then we're going to try and do that. But then some of those are bedrooms with the wallpaper. We're going to paint those. So typically we'd repaint this house for, let's see, how many rooms is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, I think it's 1,050, I think. Yeah, 1,050. So minor touch-ups, and hopefully we can get away with just doing that. So we're probably around $500. So there's 2 bedrooms that had massive wallpaper. Emil's asking if it was wood siding. No, it's kind of a pressed board siding. They used it a lot, and so sometimes that's what it gets wet, and then the different layers start lifting a little bit. So that's why you kind of come through and you scrape it, and then you paint it. Maybe do a little bit of patch or whatnot, and then you paint it. So the interior, so I'm going to probably say it's about $500 to paint those couple of rooms, patch throughout, stuff like that. Hopefully we can get the color right. Patch and paint the panel in the living room because it had those heavy scratches in it. I don't think that's going to cost us very much, so it's just going to be a light. Let's see here. Let me add this into the description. Scuff, patch, and paint panel in living room. So scuff is basically where you take the, lightly sand it. Because if you get a polished surface like glass, paint doesn't want to stick to glass because there's nothing porous for it to stick to, for the paint to stick to. So you got to rough it up a little bit so that the paint has something to grab onto. You know what I mean? You know how glass is real slick, but like wood is real rough because wood is porous, right? So this paneling has had some sort of a protective coating put over it. Now over the years somebody has scratched it. So but the rest of the paneling is still pretty glass-like, non-porous. So you got to go through there and just kind of lightly scuff it with some sandpaper, and then that way it becomes more porous, and then you could paint it. So I'm going to say that that's probably, I can't imagine that'd be more than like, I don't know, $150. The stucco of the fireplace, I'm going to say it's about $150. We're just going to basically kind of go for one of those crazy designs that they do in those loft, crazy New York City apartments. I know you do that all the time, Frank. So we're just going to kind of, in where the brick is broken out, we're going to just kind of put maybe some stucco. Minor cabinet repairs. I don't even think. I'm just going to leave that for miscellaneous. Oh no, it's gonna be more than that. Anyways, minor kitchen cabinet repairs, we'll leave that. Replace flooring in the kitchen. So the kitchen is probably 8 by, let's oversize it, 8 by 15. So what are we looking at there? 120 square feet. So that's probably going to run us $360. Adjust doors throughout. We'll leave that for miscellaneous. I'm going to say the miscellaneous is about $500. I don't even think it'll be that much. It'll probably be more like $250, $300. But I want to make sure we got a little bit of fluff. I don't even think. I think I will just do like $250. 300. Give myself a little bit. 3,000. Yes. 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 All right. So let's see what we're at. Let's see where we're at. What are we at? 500 plus 150 plus 500 plus 500 plus 150 plus 150 plus 360. What did I say? 360. Oh, plus 300 plus 250. Anytime I get an odd number, I think, oh, something's wrong. I fat fingered something. So 2860. So let's see if we can pull up some info on this house. Where is my cash flow analysis? We're going to run that real quick. It's a 3-bedroom. I'm going to say it's probably going to rent for $750 a month. We're going to put in our normal numbers: 8%, 10%, 2%, and then 10%. Let me pull up the taxes on this one. Hold on. Come on, slowpoke. I hate that when that happens. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Hold on. I need to hire a guy to do this stuff for me. So it's 828 square feet, so not a lot. Taxes on this property are $865 a year, so that's not bad at all. Do I know how much he paid for it? He bought it. I don't know how much they pay for it. So, all right, so let's just do this. Property insurance, $550. So cash flow on it should be about $407 a month. Debt service is not included into that number. So if you've got a loan on it, I don't know about it. I don't know the cap rate on this bad boy. If he bought it for, or she, I don't even remember who owns this property. Oh yeah, I do. It's a she. Maybe I do know how much she paid for it. Give me a sec here. I'm looking. Really, she hadn't owned it for that long. Anyways, so let's say she bought it for, man, it looks like she got a good price. Let's say most of you guys are paying like $65 for something like this, right? I don't know. I'm not paying $65 for it. that would be a 7.52% cap rate. If you bought it for 45, it'd be a 10.86 cap rate. So pretty good cap rate, not bad. But like I said, cash flow is here, 40708. Then, if you had debt service over that, so I mean, you could literally have 20 years, 5% interest. 70%. Let me see here. If you had a $45,000 loan on this property, it'd be about $300 a month. So maybe your cash flow is about $106.80. To some people, that's enough cash flow. To other people, it's not. Me, I'd like, if I was doing debt service, I would want about $150, $200, probably closer to $200 for cash flow. So something to consider. Anyways, all right, let's go to the next bad boy. Let me look at my notes. What are we doing here? All right. Nice snowy day. That was a little while ago, back in December. Let's see what we got here. Let me create a new scope of work for this one. Let me check and see if you guys have left me any messages while I've been sitting here. All right, Emil's asking some questions. How often do you think need to scrape and paint exterior? No, not 1 time a year. You probably got 10, 15 years between it. Just depends on if it deteriorates. If you've got a problem that you don't, if you let go, the water gets underneath it, then you're going to have problems with the siding over time, and then you're going to have to fix it. I mean, and that's typically what causes it, or old age. So that's probably the original siding on that house, and that house was built in. Let me look here. Hold on. That house was originally built in 1953, so they probably got 60 years out of it, 70 years out of it. Because that looks like that's original siding. So, yeah, I mean, you don't have that a lot in those houses. All right, what's your other question? How often do you okay that? No. Why do you do 25-year mortgage rather than 30? So, most banks that I've found don't want to do 30-year loans. They want to do a 20-year loan. Let me pull up that cash flow analysis again. So, if you turn this to 30 years... yes, your payment goes down, but you're not building up any equity at all. I mean, are you going to keep it for 30 years? I don't know. I mean, most of the time I've seen that they just want to do a 20-year note on it. Now, maybe there are some guys out there doing 30 years now. So, I mean, your numbers may vary. What are you seeing? You're seeing 30-year mortgages, and what interest rate? We can come back to that. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking. I'm not a big debt service guy anyway, so all right, so let's get this one going here.
Wooden stairway looks good, and it supports.
So this is interesting to note. So Americans with Disabilities Act allows tenants to come in and make modifications to your house, but it has to be on their dime. And they have to pay for it, and then they may have to pay to have it removed when they go to move out. So that's something to consider. Most of the time it just stays forever. Okay, so minor.
This right here, the post has been knocked down. Right here.
Hey, free fans.
Junk. This screen. That's good.
So Emil said, okay, so here's something that's kind of cool. So 2 things. So Emil said that he's getting 5% interest for 30 years, but he's doing more conventional loans since he has a W-2 job. So most investors I'm seeing are getting about 20 years. Now, this is a crazy market, so there may be, and there's a million different lenders doing a million different things, so that may change. All right, here's the other thing. So this is something that we do for houses that, you know, are older, have weird window sills, not really designed for frames, or even some of the newer frames that we don't have the frames for anymore, because you end up spending a decent amount of money for framework to put frames in with screens. Like I think we probably spend $15 to $25 per screen to put a screen in if we have to build the frame and everything. So what we do is you can get like a furring strip, Furring, or a trim strip, and it's about a quarter to a half an inch thick, and it's about an inch, maybe an inch and a half wide. And you can buy them, I think they're like $3-4 for like a 10-footer. And so what we'll do is we'll run screening material over the whole window, and then we'll put these furring strips on and we'll tack them into place, right? So you can actually, so these are actually wooden ones, which will deteriorate over time, but you can get poly whatever. They're plastic, but they look really, really nice, and they're white already. So that's what I've been telling our guys to do. So they'll buy for $3 they'll buy a 10-footer, and they can usually do 1 or 2 windows with those, probably 1 window, and then they can put the screening underneath it, and they just tack it into place. So it makes it less, it makes it more economical. Because like, see here, this one's already, the screen has already been busted out. So you can see the rip in it. So what happens normally is if you build the frame, right, you buy the frame and you put the screening into it, then they come through and they bust the whole thing out, right? Because they're clearly just busting it out. They're not, it's not like a whatever. So then they bend the frames up, or they lose the frames, and then you're back to square one. So with these poly, you know, or these trim rings, you're able to pull those out at a later date, just put in new screening materials. So while it may be on par cost-wise with the normal screen for the first time, later on it's a lot cheaper, because you're not buying this wood or the poly trim stuff.
Exterior look.
So see, like this window has the original frame in it. We've got a little bit of rot going on here. I don't know if it's rot or if it's just peeling paint. So water has been coming down and sitting on here. So we'll need to scrape and paint the windowsills.
I'll seal these up a good one.
So here's another one where we did the furring strips around. Another one we did the furring strips around.
This gutter could use an extension.
Yeah. Run the gutters away.
We got 2 cars in the back waiting to be picked up.
Yeah. We get that a lot. You'd be surprised how many abandoned cars we get. Unfortunate problem is we can't sell them. So we end up having to have them towed. Taken away. And there's an original
siding.
Yeah, so this is the north side of the house, and in Indiana, that's going to get mold buildup over time. Oh, hey, I'm liking that. That's a nice view. Again, more furring strips, screens. So we get a lot of, in the lower income areas, you get a lot of houses that don't have central air. And while we do, now this house might have central air because it's got the condenser right there. Wow, this might be on a heat pump. Electric with a heat pump. Free fans. All right, let's go in. Ugh. Ugh. Terrible.
Stinks in here really bad. Redo the trim with the baseboard, fix that up.
Hey, free car fender, free bicycle.
Needs paint.
So see how we can see daylight? The door's shut. We can see daylight, so we got to fix the weather stripping around the door.
poop everywhere.
Yeah. So these people let their dogs run wild. When they weren't home, the dogs got to pee and poop wherever they wanted to.
Got like decorations and stuff.
Oh, this has got hardwoods in it.
Walls. It's gonna need painted. I'll fix the baseboards.
See, there's
So I'm gonna need painted. Floor to be heating up. Reeks in here.
how do people live like this? Man, I just don't get it.
Basement door.
It's a trap door to go down into the crawl or basement. You wanted the trash, boys and girls. You got the trash.
Stuff needs to be patched up.
You can what?
It's gonna need painted.
Emil says, I can. You can imagine how great it would be to live like this? Oh, yeah, you can. I wouldn't admit to that, Emil. Oh, we'll get you taken care of, brother.
This one needs to have a same type of handle back on the hinges. Baseboards are real dirty. All the walls are gonna need painted. All the trim and the stair rails.
Man,
Clean up the bottom, the seals of the windows. Paint the guardrails. Paint the walls.
love is in the air. Slumdog Millionaire, huh, Emil? Man. And they teach their kids to live this way too.
Got some decorations and stuff on the walls, some paper. Walls look
Paris,
pretty good.
France.
Just need touch up. Needs a sliding door right here.
Can't even tell if the door's closed or not because they're just not working right. Man. Rough.
Little signs of dog in here.
Yeah, sometimes people will pick a room and just lock the dog in it. Usually it's a basement.
Bugs.
I'm going to say we're probably going to have pest remediation as well on this property. Let's see what else we got going on.
Out here. It's gonna need painted.
So yeah, so we've got man.
Toilet seat.
Let's go back and look at the tub.
Toilet seat.
It's chipped up a little bit. Yeah, we didn't get enough good view. Look, there's vent work that needs to be done here. I don't even want to talk about how filthy nasty that is.
Toilet seat.
Good thing we got a good clean out guy. Don't tell him, but I don't pay him enough.
That's gonna wrap it up for 30.
All right. Don't need to hear the address. All right, let's see what we got here. Hold on a second. I was trying to pull up the property address so we could pull up stats on this bad boy. All right, so minor repairs to handrail. That's probably about 150. That's on the exterior. Replace screens as needed. That's probably, I don't know. I don't think there was that many. I'm gonna say 75 bucks. Scrape and paint around windowsills. I'd probably say that's like 150. Just make sure it's all caulked. Clean and run the gutters away. Typically 150. Interior clean out, including flooring. Yeah, we may be able to get away with that. Interior repaint throughout. This bad boy is 1,252 square feet. It is it really a 4-bedroom? 2 down on the main floor, maybe? I'm trying to remember. I didn't think it was.
You got schmutz, needs paint. Paint the walls.
Living room.
Clean everything, the carpet.
There's a bedroom down here, so it's only a 3-bedroom.
Everywhere.
Now, in theory, what we could do on this house is, we'll go back here. We could maybe put a wall across here. Like you come in the front door and here's your living room. Because it's pretty decent size over here. And then you could put a bedroom over there.
Clean
Like,
everything,
I guess,
carpet.
yeah, probably not though, because the window and this
There's
lot don't line up very
everywhere.
well. So I'm only counting 1, 2. There's a bedroom off to the right here. 3. And then that room off there is a bathroom. So there's only 3 bedrooms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rooms. $1,200 to repaint the interior. So $1,200. Replace flooring throughout. Again, 1,252 square feet. Like 3,756. Allison's asking if we would scrape off all those wall decal stickers, or do you just paint over them? No, we pull them off. Maybe use a heat gun so that they don't pull the paint with them. Just warm them up a bit, and then they'll just peel right off. So flooring is probably going to run 3,800 because it's like 1,252 square feet, so it's about 3,756. Repair exterior doors. I'm hoping we can get this done for about 150. Repair interior doors as needed. I just don't know. There's too much trash. We can't see if they fix or not, so let's do that. Pest remediation, I think, is like 150. Miscellaneous, I'm gonna say 750. And final clean, because we're gonna go to all LVP throughout, should be only a 250 final clean. So, where are we at number wise? 150 plus 75 plus 150 plus 150 plus 750 plus 1,200 plus 3,800 plus 150 plus 750 plus 250. 7,800. Man, that's an expensive turn. Okay. Was there any appliances in the kitchen? Did we see any? Were they worth saving?
This is
We were in the kitchen. Hey, you got a free laundry, dryer, washer. Any appliances? Stove's there. No fridge. I don't know if the stove's good though. All right. All right, so we are at 77.25. Let's run some numbers on it, shall we, kids? Where's that screen? Cash flow analysis. Home. New form. Now, I hope you guys aren't pulling up my web address and using my free form. I probably read for 750. 8%. 10%, 2%, 10%. Real estate, schools, and taxes are $680 a year. So that's not bad at all. Oops. $680. Property insurance $550. So our cash flow should be about $422.50, right? If that's if you bought it cash out. Let's see, do I know how much did he pay for this property? My screen is going slow. So it looks like he paid $56,000 for the house. $56,000 for the house. We're gonna have about $92.70 into the rehab, and then he probably paid $1,000 in closing costs to buy it. So his basis is $66,270 into it. So his mortgage payment should be about 70%, $306. So his cash flow is about $116.35. His cap rate on this house is like 7.65. Cash on cash return, if we did a loan, he got a $46,000 loan on this property. His cash on cash return would be about 7%. So it's about on par with just owning it outright. So anyways, is that a good deal? Is that good cash flow? It's good cash flow if you own it outright, I guess. But obviously there's some not so good things about owning low income houses. That tenant was there, I'm not sure off the top of my head, not long. There was some issues with this house, with some plumbing issues that took us a while to get figured out because the plumbing was old and rotten. And so we ended up having to open up walls to fix a lot of stuff. And so anyways, but I mean, that wouldn't have affected the the way they were living. Anyway, sometimes you get a bad tenant. This one was evicted for non-payment. Nothing you can really do about it. All right, so that's two properties. I was kind of hoping to get a third one in, but we were already at an hour. So I'm going to drop it there. Let me switch back to my screen. And so anyways, well, let me know if you guys have any more comments or questions. Click the like, click the subscribe, wherever those buttons are. Click the bell icon to be notified when I do posts. I'm going to try and get a bunch more scopes of work kicked out here in the next couple of weeks. I just brought on a new guy who's helping me with all of our rehabs. He's going to manage the rehabs for us. So we're going to get those ironed out pretty quickly and get up to speed. We've brought on like 3 new sets of contractors. Well, 2 at least, maybe 3 sets of contractors. So we should be able to ramp up to about 6 houses at a time instead of the current 3. And so anyway, so we're hoping to get through a bunch more of these rentals. Yeah, he basically, Emil asked if he paid retail for this property. Yeah, he basically paid retail when he bought it several years ago. Actually, a little over retail. And so anyway, so that's where we're at. All right, kids, click like, click subscribe. If you have questions, put them in the comments. Happy to answer anything you guys got, or if you want to see something, I will be happy to try and find something to go with that. So, all right, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. Have a good one.